Hello everyone and welcome to Photo Knowledge. Today we will talk about 30 strange laws in Canada. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. In Sudbury, it's actually illegal to shovel snow onto the road. While it might seem harmless, the city strictly enforces this law to prevent traffic hazards and keep roads clear for drivers. If you're someone who loves to whistle a happy tune, be careful in Petrolia. This small town has a bylaw that bans yelling, shouting, hooting, whistling, or singing in public at certain hours to maintain peace and quiet. For years, Quebec had a law that made it illegal to sell margarine that looked too much like butter. The rule was originally intended to protect dairy farmers, and though it's no longer in effect, it remains a curious piece of history. This strange law, likely a relic from the past, made it illegal to carry ice cream in your pocket. The reasoning? It was supposedly meant to prevent horse theft, since people would use the treat to lure horses away. In Beaconsfield, Quebec, residents are restricted in what colors they can paint their garage doors. If you choose an unapproved color, you might get fined. The city enforces this to maintain a uniform and visually appealing neighborhood. Trying to pay for your groceries with a mountain of loose change? Not in Canada. The Currency Act limits the number of coins you can use for transactions. For example, you can't pay more than $25 using only loonies. It's $1 coins. Public nudity is illegal across Canada. But Saskatchewan has particularly strict rules against swimming without a swimsuit in public waters. Thinking of climbing a tree in Oshawa? Think again. The city has a bylaw that prohibits tree climbing in public parks for safety reasons. Toronto has regulations about backyard chickens, including strict rules about how far coops must be from residential buildings. Breaking this rule could lead to a hefty fine. In Halifax, posting flyers on streetlights or utility poles is prohibited. The city enforces this to reduce clutter and keep streets looking clean. An old Toronto law once made it illegal to drag a dead horse down Yonge Street on a Sunday. While this law is no longer enforced, it certainly makes you wonder about the circumstances that led to its creation. In St. Paul, it's against the law to use offensive language in public parks. If you let a curse word slip, you might end up with a fine. Letting your lawn get too long in Calgary can result in a fine. The city expects residents to maintain their yards to keep neighborhoods looking tidy. Winnipeg has a strict noise bylaw that limits how loud you can play music in your car. If your stereo is heard from 100 feet away, you could be fined. Liquor sales are tightly regulated in Nova Scotia. And at one point, customers weren't allowed to purchase more than 4 bottles at a time. Some Canadian national parks have restrictions on certain animals, including llamas. This is to prevent potential disease transmission to local wildlife. Cyclists in British Columbia are required to keep their speed reasonable. If you're caught speeding on a bicycle, you could face a fine. In Fredericton, New Brunswick, carrying a live snake or other reptile on public transportation is strictly forbidden, probably for the comfort of fellow passengers. Rats are completely banned as pets in Alberta. The province has strict rat control policies to prevent infestations. If you own a ladder in Ontario, don't paint it. The law requires ladders to remain unpainted to ensure visibility of wear and tear for safety reasons. Ottawa enforces strict water conservation laws. If it's raining and you're caught watering your lawn, you could be fined. A law in Nova Scotia once prohibited bargaining over the price of fish. This rule was originally meant to protect fishermen from unfair deals. While this law seems oddly specific, it's illegal to tie any large animal, giraffes included, to a street lamp in certain parts of British Columbia. To reduce litter and environmental impact, Toronto has regulations against releasing large numbers of balloons into the sky. In Whitehorse, there was once a bylaw that required people to keep their shoelaces tied in public spaces, supposedly for safety reasons. Montreal has a law prohibiting ice skating on sidewalks, likely to prevent accidents and keep pedestrians safe. Vancouver parking enforcement is strict. If your meter expires, even by just a minute, you might find yourself with a ticket. Street racing is illegal across Canada, but Ontario has particularly strict laws. Even accelerating too quickly or spinning your tires at a red light could land you a hefty fine or even have your car impounded. Winnipeg has a bylaw that limits residents to owning a maximum of 4 ferrets per household, while dogs and cats have their own pet limits. Ferrets, specifically, have their own regulation, making this law oddly specific. Under Canadian law, it is actually a criminal offense to intentionally frighten Queen Elizabeth II or her successors. While it's unlikely anyone would be charged for merely startling a royal, this law technically remains on the books. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you learned something new and fascinating. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in a next video.